Hi everyone, it's Emma and we are doing another book review today. Today I am reviewing The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black is a book about fairies and this mortal human girl, Jude, living in the fairy world with her sisters. The story is when she was very young, Jude was kidnapped and taken to the fairy world when she was very young. She didn't have a choice in the matter. Her parents were killed. And ever since that, for like 7-10-ish years, she's been living in the fairy world with fairies. You probably could guess that fairies are not the biggest fan of humans. Jude and her sister Vivi, they're twins, are not treated very well in this fairy world. My cat wants to leave! You don't love me anymore? Is that how it is? Leave! I don't want you anyway. The only way I can really describe what this book is like is if Sarah J. Maas's books and Cassandra Clare's books had a baby. I feel like the setting is very similar to Cassandra Clare's fairy world setting, but yet the characters reminded me of how Sarah J. Maas would write characters. In other words, I really enjoyed it because I like both of those authors. And this book is super awesome because when it's naked, it has this really cool gold. I approve. I don't really like giving star reviews on books, but I give it about a 4 out of 5 on the Goodreads scale. That is all I'm going to say about this book. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the characters we were presented with. I'm curious and very interested in reading the next book. I want to know what happens next. This is a fantasy. I would even push towards a high fantasy, so there is a lot to learn about the world, so there is quite a bit of exposition. If that's not your thing, you might have a little slow start with this book, but I swear by like the second half of the book, it goes by super quick. That's all I have to say for the non-spoilery section of this review. If you have not read the book, if you do not plan to read the book, I would seriously evaluate your decision on that, and then I would go buy the book, and I'd go read the book, and then I'd come back to watch this video. Even though that might be a bad thing because the next book is not coming all the way out until 2019, so we do have like a year. But, you know, I like to be self-destructive, so that's okay. One of the most interesting things to me in this book was the relationship between Jude and Maddox. Because Maddox killed Jude and Taryn's parents and Vivian's. Taryn and Jude feel more than just hate and dislike. They do have an attachment to him just because he raised them, essentially. Jude didn't want to kill Maddox. She didn't want to hurt him, even though he killed her parents, and I did enjoy reading about it. And it also kind of sets the tone for the character of the fairies. Like, Maddox could very easily just like let Taryn and Jude die or not treated them well at all, and he didn't. Like, so it shows character. It makes us believe that he is not the bad guy, and she pays the price for that. She has to make tough decisions because of that. And it just adds a layer of complexity to the book, and I can't wait to see in the sequel how her relationship with Maddox changes. A major component in this book is the draw for power. I think that's a weakness of fairies, is that they lust for power. And Jude, being raised in fairy, is no different. She thinks that everything will be better and she'll be happier and life will be more fair if she has power. So this whole book, she's striving for power. I'm really excited for the next book to see what she does with this power now that she has it. And the transition from Jude being obedient and respectful of what is expected of her to becoming more uncontrollable and rebellious, I thought that transition was done pretty smoothly. One of my favorite lines in this book is, "I cannot seem to contort myself back into the shape of a dutiful child. I am coming unraveled. I am coming undone." I just think that line was very impactful and changing into this new person who is an adult. But I just thought that line was really fun and just really exciting to read. Like, I feel Jude's character would be so much more bare, so less of a layered character if she didn't have that build up in the beginning. I feel like if all this exposition wasn't there, Jude would be a much less interesting character. Let's talk about Locke. Seems like an alright guy until Until he says this little fun line. I like for things to happen, for stories to unfold, and if I can't find a good enough story, I make one. The instant he said that, I no longer trusted Locke and I no longer liked him, but then for some reason, Jude does. I think it's just interesting how Holly Black gives us, right there, that line, gives away who he is and what kind of person he is, but still, for the rest of the book, we overlook it until it's too late. Another scene that I wasn't particularly fond of is when Jude tries to rescue that human Sophie, but she ends up dying anyway. She is brought back to life by that group of fairies. Hopefully it will play a part in the next book, because otherwise I feel like it's just a waste of time to have that. I thought it was pretty interesting that Oriana ended up being the High King's consort, or at least she was at one point. And I think Oriana is going to become a more powerful character in future books. This book, she was just kind of the mom who didn't really like Jude, but I feel like their relationship is really going to be knitted together. It's going to become closer. At least that's my prediction. We get to one of the major spoilers, plot twists in the book, and that is when we figure out that Taryn has been simultaneously kind of dating or courting Locke while Jude has been courting him. And I thought it was such a powerful moment when Jude challenges Taryn because of her anger and her betrayal. And that dynamic is probably going to be very much so highlighted in the rest of the series. It's probably going to be one of the biggest relationships. Then we get to perhaps the biggest plot twist of the entire book, and that is when we figure out Oak is the heir to the throne. He can be rightfully named High King. And that is a big switch because Jude loves Oak like he was her own brother. And it's quite beautiful actually to see their relationship, and that she's willing to sacrifice, like she said, 7 years of her life, her happiness, to guard this throne for him when he returns, just so Fairy can be a better place. The relationship between Cardan and Jude doesn't really start to connect for me until about the last third of the book, when they start working together instead of against each other. Like next book is when their relationship is really gonna come together. It was kind of creepy when we realize Cardan likes her and desires her but hates himself for it, and then they kind of have this weird kiss. I don't even know why Jude kissed him, just to kind of exert her power over him and to torture him a little bit, but then I guess now she kind of has a crush on him too. It was a really cool moment when Cardan swore his fealty to Jude. Like he said, I'll be in your service for a year and a day. I just thought that was super cool to have this prince who has learned all his life that he is above everyone to bow down to a mortal. That was just a really cool moment, you have to admit. And then I also have to admit that my jaw dropped physically when Jude put the crown on Cardan's head instead of Oak, so that Cardan would have to be king. And I am just super excited for the next book to see what happens. I don't know what else to say. Like, I just am literally so excited. That's all my thoughts and opinions on The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. If you have any recommendations or any thoughts at all, make sure to put that down below in the comments. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I'll be out with another video, hopefully Thursday. That's my goal. I will see you soon.